Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. All right, let's get started. Today's session, I'll be talking about the ABM Trifecta, leveraging sales and marketing and customer success to reach and win your target accounts. Okay, so a unique perspective. Why the Trifecta? I believe that this relationship between these three teams is really key to successful selling. There are many conversations that are taking place with accounts between sales, marketing, and customer success throughout the buying cycle. Companies are constantly connecting the dots, not only from all the data that's coming in from various automated sources, but also behavior can be gleaned from these day-to-day conversations. With that said, at the end of the day, we all play an integral role. Collaboration and working together in a connected manner and delivering, what we call an awesome buying experience is really key when you want to engage, develop, win, and retain your top target accounts. Now, this is a unique perspective because this is something I can absolutely relate to. I've had the privilege in my career to be part of each team. So I've been in sales, I'm in marketing, and I was in customer success. My name is Carla Nenley, Head of Marketing here at Follows. So let's begin. Okay, the bow tie effect. So with the bow tie effect, here at Follows, we primarily target and sell to large enterprise companies. The bow tie funnel can be thought of as an infinity loop for marketing efforts where you're always treating a customer like a potential buyer. We found that when selling to larger enterprises, 70% of organizational revenue will primarily come from post-initial sales. And unfortunately, much of the effort and mindset is not quite yet realized. Marketing will need to continually work hard and hand in hand with sales and customer success to ensure retention, expansion of client accounts long after the initial sale, which brings us to the ultimate goal here is not to only secure a lifetime client, but also to obtain new customers by word of mouth. Everybody should essentially always be marketing to new accounts while engaging and expanding to current ones. And of course, you'll need to do all of this and deliver all of this at scale, especially with enterprise. Okay, now let's kind of take a look at the upside of things. Once you've established your account criteria and have identified your targets, you will not only need to document this process, but I highly suggest you establish a cadence in which you will review the list with sales, marketing, and customer success. And each of the accounts should include these key data points. Now, these data points I've selected specifically because this is what we implement at Follows. For each of our accounts, we prioritize by ABM priority, A, B, C, and D. And again, this is gleaned from the criteria that we've selected and the targets and account and company types that we have agreed upon. In the field of account status, this is where it will tell you where the account is in the buying cycle. This is we've done this by updating it automatically by pulling details from current opportunities, tasks, and campaign status, as well as types of engagement. So, for example, an account status could be in meeting performed or demo performed, or they are now in evaluation stage. And then the account type field here, this is a standard field. This is, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this before. This is where you identify the account, whether they're a customer, past customer, reseller, partner, etc. Now, we have a custom field called last opportunity stage, and this is when we identify, especially when we're selling to enterprise, you're selling to multiple buying units, and this will reflect the current opportunity stage submitted for the account. So for example, if today or yesterday the last opportunity stage was stage A, that's going to be reflected on the on this field. Now, the number of open opportunities. This is important as well because if you're thinking land and expand world, and when you're thinking customer lifetime value, there should be multiple open opties for an account. And so this gives you a great idea, and sales loves this because they see that, oh, great, we're moving forward. We're looking more than just, closing one contract with this account. We're actually going forth and closing multiple buying units and or resell. We're moving forward with resell, upsell, cross-sell opportunities. And then customer success. Now, customer success is a whole section, and I know this is somewhat common with a lot of companies where customer success has their own section, and there is a list of all the pertinent and really important information and data that you need for this account, and information that they have collected from the account as well. So this is statuses post-sale once the account has been closed won, and this will have the information like where they are in the implementation, onboarding stage, the account health. I've seen it where people call it red, yellow, green, and then number of users, renewal date, etc. Again, taking the account statuses on the top side for sales and also combining that with customer success on the account data is really helpful when it comes to marketing to these accounts. The more at the end of the day, right? The more information, the better. And is your universe expanding? So you know your world, you know who your target accounts are, but at the same time, there are accounts that we call lookalikes that you in turn should also be targeting. There's a lot of tools out there that could help you with this information, and at the end of the day, you don't want to miss out. And to share a little bit, we use Discover.org for this as our tool to identify our lookalikes. Okay. All right, so we've done the ops part of targeting and the data that you need. Now we're going to take a look at, okay, who's buying? So with who's buying, when selling to enterprise, they typically have a vetting or evaluation and vendor process in place. And so personas are really not enough. Sure, we know who we need to sell to, but we also need to know their role in the buying committee. Especially with large enterprises, it's not one person that's buying, it's a whole committee that's buying. And this could be, it could be, as low as 3 up to 10, if not more, depending on the size and how big they are in regards to their processes. And we can also find out which titles or groups who could be the decision makers from current and past accounts by looking at the similarities. So for example, if I have an account in this vertical and at this size, I can go back and get the information and see, title A, B, and C, level X, Y, and Z were part of the buying committee, and I could probably figure out that in a similar account, these titles are probably are part of the buying committee as well. So it's giving you kind of insight or someplace to go on when it comes to reaching out and targeting these buyers or these personas. Champions are key. While I was in Marketo, I was a Marketo champion, and when I was a customer, I was a champion. And when I worked at Marketo, I learned that, you lean on champions, and champions become almost like your other sales channel, because they will be your proponent. They will tell their friends. They will spread the word. And so right away, we try and identify who those champions are when we are going after prospects, because those are the people internally that are going to help you and provide guidance on how to navigate these really complex and large internal processes. And because, they're a champion and they're an influencer, they're more than happy to help you out, because, they believe in your product and they want you as a vendor. Also, don't forget about hand raisers. So hand raisers, most people think it's your typical, when leads are coming in, but hand raisers could be within these buying committee. So, for example, buying committee, you'll have somebody probably in ops, and at the time you're selling, you don't think that they would be an influencer or show an interest. When you do when you're looking to expand the deal within that company, they will show interest. So don't forget to watch out for those guys as well with their behaviors, and also, they'll turn around and say, hey, I'm interested through conversation with their customer success manager or their AE. Okay, got the buyers. Now the hierarchy. So for those of you who have tried to map out a company hierarchy, it's pretty tough. And then it gets even tougher when selling to large organizations who have multiple locations, multiple products, and multiple teams and multiple buying units and buying committees. In conjunction with the tools that we use like Discover.org, you should also leverage your AEs and customer success for this information. So, your AEs, they've established your account execs have established the conversations. They've, talked at length. And then within those conversations, they probably got information from that contact, who reports to who really has buying authority, and who reports to whom, and dotted lines, so on and so forth. Within the hierarchy, you should not only identify members of the buying committee, but also identify their role in the buying process. So within that hierarchy, you've established where they are, but you should also immediately or whenever you can identify where they are in the buying process. We've seen team hierarchy change several times in accounts, especially in large companies. Not going to lie, this is a tough one, and there's no silver bullet, and you constantly have to work at it. And like I said, it's going to take work to maintain, but I can't stress enough the importance of this and the information for your expansion strategy. And there's a reason why I've chosen this graphic. During an organizational change within a large account, mapping out the top players is key right off the bat. I mean, yes, there are tools, but for large accounts, we set a cadence, or we set up meetings to do a quick check with sales, marketing, customer success, to update everybody on all the organizational changes, because marketing needs to understand, if the players have changed. Sales obviously need to understand, on the hierarchy, who they should be having a conversation with, and then CS just, overall have the understanding of how the company is working, and ensure that they're talking to the right people within the account. And yes, I mentioned before, this is definitely a moving target. But if you haven't started this at all in your account selling strategy, I highly suggest that you create like a simple chart, or apply tools that can help you out with this. Okay, so now, I want to go over really quickly how you can powering the entire account buying journey. So, it follows, we see 3 phases: explore, consume, and engage. On the explore side, buyers from an account are, checking out and trying to learn more about you and your offerings. However, they haven't raised their hand, and they haven't really identified themselves yet. Once their interest is piqued, they begin to consume more materials. And at this point, they make themselves known. And in ABM, this is where known accounts, typically begin their journey. And also, in this type of stage, due to the types of materials they are consuming, you will get a really good idea of their topic of interest. And with that, take that intelligence and provide them with a more targeted experience when nurturing the account. And then once they because they've had such a great experience, they raise their hand and they start engaging with your sales. And this is at that point where they're ready to have a conversation, and, the seller is involved. But, it doesn't stop there. You don't stop teaching and nurturing. If you're selling to an account, the process is continual. Okay, so I showed the bow tie earlier, and this is a larger visual in how taking that buying journey and looking at it applied in a bow tie. And you're seeing how we're marketing, sales, and customer success fall under, and I will explain now how they can kind of work together throughout the buying process, or the buying journey. Okay, let's start with marketing. I'm not biased or anything. It's key that marketing is consistently providing value and engaging at every stage of the relationship, before, during, and after the sale. I mean, marketing shouldn't stop after the deal is won. We're looking at the customer lifetime value. So you're marketing, nurturing all the time, all day, every day to the account. And now let's dig a little deeper. Okay. So your targets. As I mentioned earlier, it's really important to, on the operations side of things, to review and revisit your account list. Marketing can provide account information from reporting on and analytics from their campaigns and other behaviors as well. Again, I was mentioning earlier that establishing a regular check-in cadence to meet and report and collaborate with sales and customer success to ensure that you're on track, especially when selling to enterprise, as you definitely need them involved. And, it's not one and done once you select your account. Yes, you have your target, you have your marching orders, but you constantly should be reviewing that because if, like I mentioned earlier, you'll have lookalikes, and you want to make sure that, those are included and added into your list at the appropriate time. Storytelling and education. Buyers have become really sophisticated. They do a lot of research, not only researching for buying the tool, but researching to also educate themselves. So you kind of need to think like that when you are creating materials and your engagement experience. So themes is something that we practice as follows. We select specific themes, and they typically, these themes resonate with your accounts and prospects and can help and provide guidance to their current challenges. Like, for example, the bow tie, right? The bow tie is actually one of the 5 pillars of our fundamentals in ABM success. And we're taking that theme, and for each theme, we've created a content waterfall where we can leverage these pieces in one of our content boards to tell a story throughout the buying process. I'll provide you actually an example of what the content board looks like at the example section of this presentation. Curation. So again, I was mentioning the content board. You need to start thinking outside that one piece individual content, right? So you have a piece of content, you send it out, you say, let's say it answers a challenge, and you create that messaging, you post it on your website, and then you send an email, here's that one individual content. You're not really telling a story, and you're making it kind of like a one-time experience. So, as previously mentioned, we leverage a follows content board where we not only show our thought leader, our content pieces, but also we use it in conjunction with other authors to tell that stories. Readers want to hear from other thought leaders and hear other points of views, and then by adding those pieces of material in one place, you create an experience and a story and a place for them to learn. You need to ask yourself, are you creating a learning experience for your prospects and customers? And are they learning about solutions to those challenges, more information about subject matters or topics that they have, mentioned that their interests, and also are they provided an engagement tool or experience that also is speaking to providing them examples of customers that are just like them, that have the same challenges, and are solving those challenges. Marketing can help sales by leveraging these content boards in their campaigns, and by placing them front and center and positioning them as the trusted advisor and partner, which is absolutely key. And then in marketing, there are your campaigns, right? You're selling to an account, large enterprise. You want to make sure that you are leveraging these stories, and you are then flipping them around and customizing them for each of your campaign types. So that could be your website, that could be, digital ads, that could be, your email, individual email sends, and they are specifically targeted to accounts as well. And then when you identify which one of these works, and what type of messaging or what type of campaigns that are working and getting the most engagement from your target personas or accounts, leverage them for other similar accounts and similar personas who are experiencing the same challenges and have expressed the same topics. I'm really big on reusing material that if it works for one, why not try it for another one that's similar. Collaboration. Marketing, we're not siloed anymore, especially when it comes to selling and working with enterprise. Marketing needs to collaborate with sales and customer success. We typically check in, and I love to share high performing content and topics with sales and customer success. I also ask them to share any other challenges accounts have mentioned to them during their conversations, and just share any conversation that would help in messaging and me flipping types of content to focus on that type of messaging. And you'll eventually find patterns, and when you find these patterns, as I mentioned before, you can leverage this for future campaigns. And when you are deciding on topics, when you are ready to create new content. The data points, again, is similar to the ones I mentioned earlier in the ops side of things, where you run reports or dashboards on account statuses, as well as details provided by customer success, and look for any updates. Like I said before, things change in an account, things change in an organization, to ensure that you're delivering the best type of content, the best type of messaging, and making sure you kind of turn on a dime. You want to make sure that you are collaborating on those data points. So I mentioned earlier the examples of personalized digital experience using the content boards. So to your left is, so here's a couple of examples. To your left is an event board. We recently hosted an event co-sponsored with Sendoso on how to revamp your ABM program and when to introduce direct mail into your program. So after the event, the landing page that I had created for the event that had information and details about the partner and the webinar now becomes the post-event follow-up page, and now is a space where people can return to learn more about the subject moving forward. So since this is about revamping your ABM, all the materials that's in this content board has anything and everything to do with that, and also showcases the partner. And so, like for example, last week, Sendoso sent me the latest blog for the subject matter, and I posted it on the board. The boards are evergreen, and then now I could use the board as a follow-up, and also by itself as part of that storytelling that I was mentioning earlier. To the right is the theme content experience, where I am taking the bow tie effect and collecting materials that is focused on that subject matter. And both can be used in nurture campaigns, ads, and shared to those who showed interest. And you can also leverage this to engage buyers at any stage of the funnel. In addition, our CS teams can leverage these boards when sharing examples of best practices and ideas for their customers. Okay, sales. The initial deal, as I said before, is just the beginning of the journey. It is really important, we feel, to adopt an approach that keeps in mind the customer lifetime value. The sales role has expanded, and we need to continue nurturing customers so they keep re-signing and expanding their contracts. So let's dive in. Relationships. Yes. Sales is known for their relationships. They're continuously building and maintaining the relationship with accounts and their contacts, and it's really important that they build these relationships before and after the sale. And marketing can leverage their account knowledge and how they message and market to those accounts and to those individuals in the accounts. Listening for signals. Listen for opportunities for upsell and cross-sell. This can be from conversations that sales are individually having with their contacts. This also can be from reports of behavior from data, that reflects behavior for a buyer and or a current customer. Also, marketing should check in with account execs and customer success managers for those accounts to find out what resonated with the buyer. Earlier, I had mentioned this from their personal conversation. Implement what they shared and apply to others in the organization because within that account, if one had expressed a challenge, go ahead and share it and see, change your messaging and market to those individuals, so that, and then they'll find that, oh wow, they really understand me. They know my pain, and launch programs for identified lookalike accounts as well. Okay. So this is an example of continuing that conversation and leveraging Follow's board to tell that story and to continue a conversation. So and to provide material that's relevant and that's top of mind. So here, once a salesperson has a conversation with an account and they've, found out, what was important to them and what their challenges are, we now can create this experience, and we can tell a story and provide this awesome journey for them, so they can learn from others. So this board has use cases in there, as well as thought leadership from other resources as well. So in this board, we can leverage the topics shared during a conversation, and customer success was also involved in this because they were involved in the development of the case studies and identifying the champion and advocate for each one of the use cases as well. So you're kind of seeing like the pattern where, like, sales, marketing, customer success, in each part of the process or journey, in one way or another, we find ways to work together, or find that one will need the other to produce something and or get something done. So in addition to the boards, you can, when I was mentioning earlier, nurturing and kind of giving them that really awesome buying experience, and now you are creating multiple ongoing, highly targeted campaigns, because now you are taking individual pieces of content from that content board and leverage it to further the conversation. And you can send a message that lets the buyer know that the AE has put together some content for them on a specific on a specific topic, and either begin the conversation or continue the conversation by highlighting a piece of content in that message, but creating a cadence of presenting other pieces of content from the same board. Also, marketing can deliver this motion at scale because they can send on behalf of multiple sellers to various accounts and contacts while still placing the seller front and center. And again, this messaging and sending is you can do it by account, by vertical, by persona, by region, and as I mentioned before, marketing can send on behalf of multiple sellers. You can do it by hundreds. Customer success. As I mentioned earlier, when selling to larger enterprises, 70% of organizational revenue will primarily come from post-initial sale. And so, once the sale is complete, now the process is with customer success. And, again, if we're thinking lifetime value, we want to make sure that they have the best experience all the way through, not just from, identifying them when they first raise their hand from selling, now through implementation and onboarding. So in success, you want to have insights. There's the account info I mentioned. You will need to make sure CS has an area in your CRM where they can share important details about the account as well as individual contacts. And success in conjunction with a customer maturity model and also the quarterly business reviews, this will ensure the customer is on track for success and account renewal. Now, with QBRs, success managers conduct these QBRs to also ensure that they are on track, and can also signal for any potential upsell and cross-sell opportunities. And success can, they're in the front lines, and they're the ones that have firsthand knowledge about the health of the account. You will need to create a well thought out implementation, onboarding, and training program, to ensure that the customers have a great experience through and through. And I will show some examples of some successful customer success programs, which sales and marketing was able to leverage as well. And usage. So in SaaS, this is super important. We want to make sure customers are successful, not only successful, but part of that success is how often they're actually using the tool. So this absolutely contributes in the account renewal, and also signal the possibilities for upsell, because customers really dig your product. They're going to use more of it, and if you see that spike, then marketing can ramp up and send out messages, and sales can reach out as well. Okay, referrals. As I mentioned before, champions, they're awesome, and you need to leverage them. Invest in your champions. They are key to the account success, and they give you the inside track on specific challenges, organizational climate, as well as other potential opportunities. And don't forget about the power of advocacy. Prospects, customers, former customers, they all talk to each other. And so you got to be on the top of your game when it comes to making sure that, customers are happy and champions are happy and get what they need, and also feel like they're part of a community. So with these referrals can absolutely help to collapse the buying cycle, because sales team love the referrals, because then they can have a prospect talk to an existing account in the similar space, in the similar spot of challenges, and they can have the referral actually show them, hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel. We're successful, and it just makes for a really awesome buying experience. And this I haven't seen done in a lot of in many companies, but it follows. We also found that connecting customers who have a similar use case, and we have them collaborate with each other, provides a sense of community, and can start that online community. And again, this absolutely helps with the renewal process, and contributes to that, advocacy and customers sharing, their awesome experience, and being your champion, and being that channel for you for selling to your accounts. Case studies. Wow, case studies are just amazing. Case studies are awesome because they're a great way to illustrate a challenge, a solution, and a success. And if you create these for all of your target account, not target account individually, but markets. This is, I can't tell you enough how this has been so helpful and useful during the buying cycle. And also you can leverage this, from the beginning of the cycle all the way up to a current customer, having a new challenge and looking for a solution, and then, boom, they see this use case or this case study, and it's like, oh wow, like we're in the same boat. Oh sweet, this is how I can solve that challenge. And again, marketing works, closely with success. I always bug the customer success team, and I always ask them, hey, who's a champion, who's so super excited, and who's willing to participate in a case study, and I have a couple where they've actually volunteered, which is really awesome, and that just tells you, and it tells the sales team, like, hey, this customer is super happy. They're definitely most likely to to kind of sing your praises and help you with your land and your expansion efforts. So yeah, and then here is an example of customer campaigns that I help customer success with. And so with regards to adoption and engagement, we created a campaign We called it a campaign pizza party, and also sponsored the pizza party. So we said, hey, host a campaign party and, basically do this at lunch, and pizza will be on us. And this was really successful because, who doesn't want pizza? And it was a really fun way of kind of doing a different way of approaching, adoption encouragement and engagement. The other one is a best practices webinar series that we launched for our customers. So there are like a few topics. So we started with best practices on events. So we speak to, from planning the event, from the logistics, promotion to follow up. And this was really successful because, again, we are teaching our own customers what is the best way to run their campaigns, and also both campaigns, both examples can be leveraged by marketing and sales. So sales can go ahead and say, hey, this is what we're doing with our customers, and this is what we're doing to educate them. And yeah, again, this is really awesome because it's not a siloed sort of piece of content or campaign. It can be leveraged by all three teams. So in conclusion, I hope the session was informative and kind of show you the importance and showing the importance of why these three teams should really work together, because working together, making sure we're all connected. I don't really like to use aligned, but we work in a connected manner. How it can really ensure an awesome buying experience throughout the entire cycle, and also keep our current customers happy and get our prospects interested in us. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for their time. I did, if you just really quickly, I have posted 2 questions for the audience, and it is in the voting section. I'd be really interested from the people who participated today. How many are you are in the maturity stage of your ABM program? And if your ABM program today, or how you approach your accounts, have the land and expand strategy in mind. So if you guys don't mind doing that, I believe it's on the console to the right, I think. So I've activated the first one. Okay, so it looks like some people in early planning. I'm now going to activate the second one. So you can go ahead and answer that. Awesome. Again, this is Carla Manley. Thank you for participating. Please feel free to reach out, and I'll be following up with everybody, or I will, Bright Talk will be following up with everyone, and I will be sending some examples and some best practices. with that, I thank everybody for your time, and hopefully the session was helpful for you and you also enjoyed it. Have a great Wednesday and the rest of the week. Thank you.